The Eagles had a day to forget as they lost for the first time in 3 one-day cup games this summer, going down by 182 runs at home to Worcestershire. The Eagles won the toss, but the decision to invite the visitors to bat first was soon working against Tom Wesley and his team as Jack Haynes and Brett D'Oliveira opened up with some boundaries and then batted on and on and on. They first saw out the 10 overs of power play in which they eased the total to 63, and then with both batsmen having their eyes well and truly set, they went about their business with great confidence. By the halfway stage of the Worcestershire innings, the total read 167 without loss, and the Eagles were in danger of being asked to chase something bordering on the ridiculous, even in the modern age of the one-day game. D'Oliveira was celebrating his maiden 100 in this competition at the start of over number 30. He'd struck 11 fours and 1 6 in an innings which had thus far used up 95 balls. The next target knocked off was the 200-run partnership, and then in the 34th over, Haynes recorded his maiden list 8-ton in his 4th game. It had taken him 91 balls. In the end, this opening pair put on 243 runs for the first wicket in 36 overs. D'Oliveira finally out for 123, a career best in this format. Jack Plom holding on in the deep of a relieved Shane Snater. Joe Leach was up the order at 3 but was out for a single, leg before to Aaron Nijar. And the fight back continued as List A debutant Ben Allison struck with the first ball of his spell, Tom Fell clipping him to Snater. Having waited 36 overs for the first wicket, the Eagles now had 4 in 27 balls. Jake Libby, the next to fall, run out by Simon Harmer after a mix-up. From 243 without loss, Worcestershire slipped to 273 for 5 when Ed Barnard gloved a reverse sweep off Harmer behind. Haynes remained and continued his memorable day by getting to his 150 from just 124 balls. He was finally dismissed in the 46th over for 153, stumped by Adam Wheater off Harmer. Worcestershire now on 300 for 6. Allison then grabbed a second wicket, Gareth Roderick ramping to William Bottleman. The visitors on 314 for 7 with 2 overs to go. They ended their 50 on 338 for 7. Josh Baker and Joshua Dell both putting bat to ball with good effect to prove that there were still runs aplenty in this surface. It was a big total for sure, but given where Worcestershire were at one point, the Eagles would have been happy not to be chasing many more. But of course, they needed a good start with the bat, but the opposite occurred. Bottleman was bowled by Charlie Morris for a duck in the first over of the reply. Leach then got a delivery to nip back to bowl Wesley through the gate for 14. And the experienced all-rounder then had Essex in a mess. Michael Pepper nicked off to one which lifted on him. He gone without scoring. And 2 balls later, Ryan Tedescarter was legged before, also for a duck. One thing in their favour was that Alistair Cook was still there. He knew that batting would become easier as the ball softened, and along with Wheater, the innings started to rebuild. But that work was then rapidly undone. Cook perished on 42, mistiming a drive off Barnard to mid-off, and next ball Harmer edged behind, leaving the Eagles back in trouble on 87 for 6. That became 102 for 7 as Nijar swung at Baker, only to hole out after scoring 3. From this position, for the Eagles to win, Wheater would have to walk on water. He got to his 50 from 67 balls and then sent his 68th over the rope off Morris. He would have been well aware that his side's hopes rested almost totally on him, but Wheater appeared to enjoy the pressure as he increased his tempo with several more boundaries. He of course needed some support, and Snater helped add 50 runs for the 8th wicket, only for Wheater to finally fall for 77, D'Oliveira adding the all-important wicket to his century as the batsman picked out Morris in the deep. And it was all over in the same over, the 32nd, as Plom was stumped D'Oliveira with 3 for 8 as the Eagles were dismissed for 156. That meant a defeat by 182 runs, and Essex will file it away as a bad day at the office and swiftly move on to their next contest, which is back at Chelmsford against Kent on Sunday.